Hello and welcome to the Slip Cordon. I'm Peter Boyd.
And I'm Isabel Joyce. On the Slip Cordon, we'll be talking all things Leinster cricket with people from around the grounds.
This week, I'm talking to Mark Condell, chairman of Mullingar Cricket Club, all about the vandalism and damage that was caused to their ground in the Cricket Leinster raffle.
And I'll be talking to a few of the best coaches around Leinster, and we'll be speaking about how to go about training and coaching in these troubling times. Let's see how we got on. Hello and welcome to the Slip Cordon. I'm joined by a very talented Slip Cordon today. We've got Claire Shillington, and she's head of youth and women's cricket in Pembroke Cricket Club. The head of Malahide CC Cricket Development, that's Michael Hingston, and then we've got level 2 coach Nikki Kenny. So thanks for coming on, guys.
Pleasure.
Welcome. So what we're planning on discussing today is coaching in the current climate. You know, everyone's probably seen bits and pieces about the rules and regulations that Sport Ireland and Cricket Ireland are making sure people are adhering to for the safety and health of all of the people playing cricket around the country. But lots of people are struggling with figuring out how to go about training and coaching in their clubs. So I've brought together three, basically a brains trust of coaching from Leinster, and we're going to just discuss some ideas. So we'll go to Hinky first, or Michael Hingston, sorry, Hinky for short, those of you who don't know. So Hinky, can you just give us an idea of what you might do in a net session if you're taking some kids?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. A pleasure to help if I can. Yeah, like I think it's totally uncharted territory for many of us. Like when we're like even talking to the likes of Nikki on a group chat and others as well. Like we're just totally bouncing ideas of each other and getting sort of different bits of information and trying to make the most of it. So if any coaches are listening, like please, you're in the same boat as probably a lot of us. When it comes to nets, like there are options available to you. I think working like from our club point of view, we had a meeting last Monday, and we're just going to go down the one-to-one route at the very start for the first couple of weeks anyway, and not look at bringing in large groups unless it's maybe someone from the same household. But like there's like lots of things I've written down loads of notes, or if I look away. But in terms of batting, I think it's key. It's an opportunity on bowling as well to look at the technical aspect of what people are doing, because it's sort of you one-to-one with a player that you can maybe introduce a new shot or reinforce things that they're doing well, or else look at technical things that maybe they need to work on for both bowling and batting. Also fielding too that they can do throwing down the net. I think that when it comes to bowling, I think the safety issues are there with using the one ball. So what we're going to do is give a player a ball for the summer, for the rest of the summer, and that's their real ball, so they can just hold on to that, and then we expect it back at the end of the year, but probably more than likely it's going to end up in their bags, as all kids tend to steal all the balls. Then I think, yeah, just from the coach's point of view, just make sure that like all the equipment that you bring out, so your mitt, your slinger, your cones, the little spots that you have to mark down areas, I think as long as the player understands that you're the only person who can touch them, but then like from there, the world is like your oyster. You can go back to sort of being a coach again, but it's just sort of have this heightened awareness of the risks or the limitations that are there because of COVID. But I think it's going to be key just to sort of take these baby steps to get going. When it comes to bowling, obviously there's a lot of technical information and technical things that people need to look at for the alignment and the balance and the direction that people are traveling in. If people are unsure, they're happy to, and they want to take a video and they've got their stuff through, please send videos through to maybe other coaches that you know who maybe have the level 2s or level 3s who are able to maybe spot technical things that you can. And the same with batting, maybe a good opportunity to get some video analysis done of players too. I probably waffled on a good bit there. I don't want to sort of take it away, but that's just a couple of notes that I'd sort of written down. And like when it comes to the batting, you can do scenarios. Bowling, you can do scenarios and nets. You can give people challenges, say hit certain areas. like, can you bowl a Yorker, maybe 1 in every 10 balls? Or whenever it comes to batting, if you set up gaps, can they hit a gap maybe 1 in every 2? Or every ball, ideally, yeah, can you hit a gap? But set challenges for players accordingly, and put them in scenarios rather than just, not rather, building on the basics that you're giving them with the technical stuff, throwdowns and things like that. Can you challenge them a bit further in the nets?
Very good. And do you think you would, when you have those bowlers in there, have a batter, or you're very much set on just having one person down at a time?
We're set at the minute. Yeah, we were sort of set on going 1-to-1 only at the start. And unless someone's from the same household, I think the guidelines that Cricket Ireland sent out, the excellent guidelines that they sent out, and a lot of work went into them. It's good to see that they say at this stage that it should just be either 1-to-1 or person from the same household, and then you're allowed 1-to-2, I think it is, unless I'm mistaken. But yeah, that's
no, you're right. I think you can have 2 people training, and the coach at a distance is the other one. So you could have, if you've 3 nets, you could have net 1 and net 3 going, so one person bowling it or throwing to one person. So, but I mean, if you have the resources to do 1-to-1, absolutely, that's great. Just coming to you on the same thing, Shillers, I mean, as a club coach for youth especially, do you think that you'll be looking more at doing group sessions rather than 1-to-1s with the numbers?
Like, just to kind of reiterate what I think he's saying, it's I think everyone's in the same position. It's a bit of a minefield, and no one really knows where you're kind of at. So I think for us, probably at the start, we'll look to open up with adults first, and then bring our youth in, which is obviously really important. But that's the bit we really want to get right and make sure that we have all our boxes ticked. But I think we'll definitely look to go down small, probably 1-to-1 start with, maybe 1-2 in a net. One of the things, just I was thinking about it today, is like anything, and like I always think a good coach is somebody that can adapt really quickly, and that obviously comes with experience. There'll be lots of coaches hopefully listening to this that don't have lots of experience, but as we get out and coach next week or the next couple of weeks and figure out the lay of the land, it'll become much easier, like putting stuff down on paper, and it's all great in theory, but I think until you're actually in it and doing it, we'll be able to adapt once we've adapted our lives to, the restrictions, and we'll adapt our coaching style. And actually, sorry, I'm going to harp on, really thinking about it, I actually think there's quite a big, there's an opportunity to see the big opportunities that are ahead of us in this restricted time, as in we can hand a lot of responsibility over to players and over to kids, and, make them become, I always say to kids, you need to become mini coaches, watch each other, whether that's in the nets or watching somebody do a bowling drill or a fielding drill, watch each other and try and teach each other. So we're giving them opportunities to become mini coaches, to become leaders, to be able to communicate better. Like, these are all added opportunities that we might miss out on otherwise if we were running our kind of normal sessions that we would have done before.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I really like that. Nikki, just coming to you, you've a lot of experience coaching teams and big numbers at men's training sessions mostly. Is there a way that you can go about running sessions for larger groups if you have to have more down at the same time? I mean, we can have up to 15 on the grounds at once, but you can only really use 2 nets if you've got 3.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot. I'd probably try and reduce the numbers and shorten your time and just have a more intense training session, just maybe down to 12 at max, down at a time, maybe have an hour and 20 minutes of a session, and maybe then you could have 12 and 12 instead of a big large number, which could get a bit messy if you had more than, just to try and manage it a bit better. If you had so the way I'm thinking would be, I'd have maybe 12, 3 stations and 2 areas in each station, if possible. So an example of Marion, I'd have, so we'd use a 3-bay net. We'd have 1 for a bowling machine, slinger, middle net would be empty, obviously. And then the 3rd net, I think if I'm right with the restrictions, you can have 2 people in there giving throwdowns to each other. If the one is using say, holding the balls with a latex glove. So what I was thinking, I'm not even sure if it actually will work, but so if you had six to 10 balls maybe, let's say 12 balls, 6 in use, 6 being disinfected, waiting for use for the next person. The one person is using 6 balls with a latex glove, giving throwdowns, and just working on whatever skill you've come up with for that session. And then rotating, go again for whatever 15 minutes it is that we're doing throwdowns. Hopefully that is within the guidelines and will work though. So I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think
The COVID officer will tell you.
Can I just jump in? My understanding is that if I was giving throwdowns to you per se, and I used my balls that I'd brought or was given, I could use those without a latex glove, and you just knock them back to me, so you actually never touch them. I think that's my understanding. That's a way around that one.
Yeah, it is. But if you're then going to rotate, I think is what Nikki's getting at. So if you've got 12, then you've got another pair coming in, then you need to have disinfected balls. I mean, if you have enough balls and you could maybe have 4 for each person to throw, like that's still a lot. And you've got another group coming in afterwards. So it's going to be, you're nearly going to spend a lot of time just managing that. And I think that's why you've said adults going first is a good idea, because you can expect them to, look, I mean, everyone going down has to be looking after themselves and adhere to the rules. So I think that's probably one of the best ways to go. And Claire, I'll bring you in here again. Just Nikki mentioned, 3 stations. So there'd be the nets, and then we'd have some fielding stations. What kind of way would you run some fielding stations where people can avoid touching the with each other?
These actually I think are easy enough. And again, here's seeing an opportunity. We can go pare it all back to really basic stuff of running in and picking up a stationary ball on the ground and throwing at a stump. Obviously you're going to be restricted to what area you're maybe put in, that you can safely check. You don't want to be rigging up loads of nets to throw balls into, but hopefully you can throw at a stump that has a wall behind it far enough, that it's safe. And I think with kids as well is just to make sure that, although we're going back to basics, so maybe lining up 5 balls on the ground and running in, to make it competitive and to make it have purpose. So you're running up, you're trying to hit the stump, and you're going to have a competition with your partner that you're with. To give it make it specific, but also focused. And the majority of kids want a bit of competition. And then on things like that, there's just loads of ways that you can vary a very simple drill. You can tell them to lie on their tummies and get up, so you're adding in a bit of fitness. You can set up 3 stumps so that the partner has to call which stump they aim at, left, right, middle. And I think just to keep varying it every week, you could go to the other thing that I've been really thinking about is using your environment that you have, which is everyone's had to adapt to really well at home. So use walls like Pembroke Wall. There's not going to be anyone sitting having a orange juice or a glass of wine on it for the next month or 2. So use it for rebounds, catches. You can throw it yourself, and you can add in then catching and throwing at the same time. It's off a wall, it's a catch, it's a turn and throw at a stump. So I think it's just, and I have it in my hand. I think is going to be my best friend for in the nets. That's obviously a slinger, but also fielding drills. For a coach to be able to use this to fire out balls, fire catches. I'm not particularly good at it, but I'll get better as we go along. But just to think about the environment that you have to get the max out of that, to get the max out of the equipment that you can use that's not going to inhibit kind of hours of desanitizing. And I'm going to be the only person that touches my slinger. I don't have to touch a ball, so it's fine for fielding. So it's just been a little bit more creative about that, thinking about make sure that you add in keeper drills. There's lots of stuff you can do on footwork, little again off the wall, little half volleys for them to take and get them moving their feet. And as I said before, you'll adapt and see what works. Like there's lots of stuff I've written down that in theory sounds great. When I get out there, it might be rubbish, and you just scrap it and think of something else. And again, use the resources that are out there. Get on the internet. YouTube's brilliant. you know, and see what other people are doing.
I'm hoping you guys are going to share a few videos for everyone. But Nikki, just going back to you on that, those different drills. Do you think you'd have a station for fitness, because you can have groups of up to 4, as long as they're socially distant, they can do fitness together. So would that be a good tool to use?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty important this modern day. I'm not sure how keen a lot of Marion players would be, but I'm sure that yeah, probably once a week maybe, for maybe 10 minutes, just intense bit of fitness.
Yeah, but
just to get the legs moving.
Yeah, cricket specific stuff is always a good one, especially when everyone's been sitting around for a few months. I think you mentioned when we were talking before that you've a little document. Well, maybe it's a big document, I'm not sure, but that you've been sharing around, and we'll make this available to anyone that wants it, and you can get in contact with us at Cricket Leinster. Hinky kindly said that he'll make it available. Do you want to share the screen there, Hinky, and give us a little idea of what it is?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, as I said, I created this just on from the information that we've received over the last couple of days and week or whatever from the governing body, and just try to create this. Can you all see that Google sheet?
You can just see Val and Michael being very happy.
Oh, Val! Oh, my.
Your screen's
sorry, it might
nice.
hopefully. Thanks. I have to keep reminding myself.
Not a
but
dream. There we go. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. So hopefully that's shared with you. So just it's called Return to Train. That's just with it's unstable. A lot of internet stuff going on here at the minute in the house. But yeah, I've taken down the response of like the players who we've gone out to in the club. So what age group they're at and got the numbers of yes, they want to return to train, they want to play, or maybe they just need a bit more information, or they're like just a straight no for this summer or whatever. Like some people have said, look, there's family members who need to be shielded, so they said, look, I can't take the risk, and that sort of thing. So that was that first sheet. Then just wrote down a few notes. Does that work? Does that change sheets? Okay.
Not yet.
Hello. Oh, hold on. No, my internet is terrible here. I think it's just a lot of.
Yeah, we've got it there.
Alexa stuff going through it. So yeah, just a lot of notes that I've written down on bits and pieces. So the facilities, the coaches, the sessions, how long, how many, areas, amount of space, players, equipment, cleaning, first aid, COVID. So a lot of things that maybe I've thought about from the notes we received. Then this is what we're going to send out to players who indicate that they want to return to train. So starting the week of the 22nd, so we give ourselves a week to sort of get our head around the information that we've got. Monday afternoon, the clubs, girls and boys, so player can book in. We'll give them access to the sheet. They can book in one session a week. Then on Monday evening, the women come in, and then same sort of thing. Tuesday morning, minor boys. Tuesday minor girls. Tuesday evening, the men. And then Wednesday afternoon, same thing, junior boys and girls in the morning and afternoon. Thursday, Colts. Friday, under 17. And then Friday, a little bit clean or whatever. Then from that, then just sort of tracking in the sessions that people get, so that people aren't getting maybe too many, or you need to catch people up. Maybe people who've missed them because of rain, that you can't run the session. Then what I'm going to do is go out to the coaches. So we've had about 14 or 15 people in the club saying that they want to help and volunteer and coach. So going out to them, asking for their availability on each of the days for the weeks. So Monday afternoon, evening, Tuesday morning and evening, if people want to help lead a station and what have you. So people can put sort of green here. So say that'll be Michael Hingston. You could put in green for available, but I'm unavailable at this time. I'm back available the rest of the week or whatever. So people can sort of say, coaches, with a shared sheet that coaches can get access to. Then from that, then I'm going to make up like a coaches will fill up and not sort of go against the player timetable, so the players will get to know the coaches that they're working with. But I'm adding to this all the time, and that's for things. I'm happy to share that with anyone if anyone wants it.
That's incredible. I definitely want that.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has their strengths, and making those kinds of documents is certainly not mine. So, and I think this is something that you are very vocal on, Hinky, which is, you know, coaches should collaborate. So, you know, it's great that you're sticking to what you believe and you're willing to share that with everyone.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. It's like and you get feedback from people as well. Like, oh yeah, what about doing this? And you're constantly sort of talking to ideas. Like, that's what I remember going to an All Blacks consultant talk, and that's what he said was that, Graham Henry, would you talk to all the other coaches around the world and say, look, this is what we're doing, what do you think? But what that forced Graham Henry to do was to think of the next thing, and it forced him to think of, I would need to go on. I've told Australia that I'm doing this, but then we're looking at the next thing. So
yeah,
no, really important. I think if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose we're nearing the end of our time. Is there anything that anyone's burning to add that you probably thought about beforehand or thought of during the conversation?
I think just I just reiterate what I think you said there. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and what you said, brilliant that you've shared that. And there's such it's more now than ever that you know, coaches talking and sharing information, and because everyone's going to be at different stages with this, and people are going to find it difficult and people will find it easy, but the more that we can share with each other, I think it's absolutely brilliant. You know, I'd love if there was a sort of even a coach's WhatsApp group or something, or a way to kind of bring us all together, because I'm sure everyone's worrying about how it's going to be when we get back in the next week or two. So thanks for that, Hinky.
Yeah, great idea.
Pleasure.
Well, I'll bring it to an end there. Thank you so much for your insights, guys. Really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing what you come up with and what videos you're sharing online. You know, have you got your Twitter handles that everyone can follow so that they can learn what you're doing? No, all private.
No, mine is.
Okay, well that's it from this segment of the Slip Cordon. Thanks again to Claire Shillington, Michael Hingston, and Nikki Kenny for their thoughts, and join us next time.
Let's have a listen to how we got on talking to Mark Condell of Mullingar Cricket Club, all about the recent damage caused to their mat by vandalism and criminal damage. So you're very welcome to the Slip Cordon here on Cricket Leinster TV. Very glad to be joined by Mark Condell from Mullingar Cricket Club. Mark, you're very welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for having me.
So for this season now, with your own club at Mullingar, you were elected chair at the beginning of the year. Not exactly the season that you would have envisaged when you were elected.
That's for sure. You know, like you said there, took over as chairman this year. You know, great intentions, great plans at the start of the year, and you know, new ideas and what we might do, and so on and so forth. And had a committee meeting, I think, start of March, and you know, about a week later, 10 days later, schools were closed. The lockdown started to come in, and you know, initially it was, you know, maybe it was going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks type of thing, and things might start easing, but you know, it's kept going and going, and then it became fairly evident that it was going to be, you know, kind of a long haul thing, and all our great plans and intentions were out the window, and we just had to rejig and change and try our best to see what we could do to keep the club afloat and keep guys, you know, interest is not the right word, but you know, try to keep the club together, I suppose, as best we can, you know. So you know, we've done things like every week we try to have a, you know, a club quiz type of thing, and you know, one club member organises the questions. We get together in a Zoom call, and you know, it's a bit of crack, I suppose, as much as anything, and like I said, keeping guys together. So that's, you know, that has been good.
Yeah, because it's definitely a difficult thing for the team environment, I suppose, because like when there's an individual athlete, they can kind of work away on themselves. They're kind of used to it in some ways, but for the team and for a club, it is a really odd and difficult situation to be in, to keep that kind of spirit and camaraderie together.
Oh, that's for sure. And like, you know, cricket season ends normally, you know, mid-September, and definitely personally mid-September, when mid-September comes, gone back to school after playing cricket all summer, like, you know, glad the season's over type of thing. But then January rolls around and you're like getting, you get the itch back again. You're looking forward, the evenings starting to get a bit longer, like looking forward to the season. It's the same this year, and then, like I said, we got hit with this and the good weather, and the itch is even stronger now to try to get back going at it. So hopefully we will, in a couple of weeks, be able to at least get back training, and we'll see what's going to happen, whether we get games in or not. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out yet for us, but at least if we can get back training, and I suppose as well, like you said about the team environment, if cricket's your only team sport, the only sport you might play, you haven't picked up a bat or picked up cricket ball since last September. You haven't been in the change room having a bit of crack with lads, or nets having a bit of crack with lads. That's guys miss that as well. So
yeah, it's a big miss. I know myself, even as soon as I came out of the team environment, it's not so much the actual training that you miss. It's the dressing room and the banter that goes on in there. That's the real miss for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you show up, yourself. Like, you show up to a practice. Like, the first thing that people do isn't a warm up. Normally, it's try crack a few jokes off a few lads and wind up a few guys, and then you might get into a bit of training, and then the last thing you do is probably do the same thing again. Wind up a few guys as well. So, like you've said, an individual sports person probably is used to maybe working away on their own, and have maybe found it a little bit easier in a way to keep things ticking along in the last 2 months, or 2.5 months now at this stage. Whereas the team guys, like the likes of ourselves in cricket, would have found it more difficult, because we're used to a bit of banter and stuff. That's a big part of the game, big part of the sport.
And now I suppose one of the main reasons that, and it's not to dismiss anything else of why we're having the chat and what have you, but one of the biggest difficulties of getting restarted now for your own club down in Mullingar has been some of the vandalism that is taking place on the pitch down there, and in your grounds in St. Finian's College. For those who don't maybe know about it, can you tell us a little bit about what happens?
So it was the 10th of May, actually. I was looking up the dates there yesterday, and I knew I was going to have this chat with you. So it's just a little over a month ago now, and it was pure kind of coincidence. Another club member, Dara Ryan, he was the former chairman, actually. He just seen it on Facebook Sunday morning. Somebody had put up a video of beer cans and beer bottles and Finians, and were giving out about how it was obvious that people had been out socialising and weren't following the restrictions. And he just happened to cop on our wicket, on our mat, that there's this dark black looking spot that did not look right. So he just he tipped on down, let's have a closer look at it, and realised that being a big hole burnt through the mat and burnt through the kind of layer underneath it as well, and it had ruined it. And then, like I've said already, lots of beer bottles and cans and rubbish left all around the outfield. So it was obvious that being some sort of party that night, the weather was good, Saturday night, sun was shining, pubs weren't open, people had nowhere else to go, and end up congregating in St. Finian's College on our cricket mat, and I suppose one thing led to another, and the damage was done.
Yeah, and like I saw the pictures myself, and we'll show them to people as well here. Like it's the livelihood, or the focal point of the club. Like there's any amount of outfields and grass around the pitch there and the grounds in St. Finian's College. To go on the strip there, right in the centre of the field, and to destroy it, it just. I don't want to be kind of maudlin about it, but it must have been soul destroying for the club to and for yourself as chair to see that damage at these times in particular. Oh,
exactly. It was a big, real kick in the teeth altogether. Like you've said already, there's lots of space actually in St. Finian's College, and we've got our cricket pitch at the front of the school. Some people would have been down to play against us, obviously. But around the back of the school, they've got GA pitches and soccer pitches, and there's lots of open areas and so on and so forth. And it's nearly to our detriment, actually, that the kind of condition that we keep the ground in there. It's well cut, it's well maintained, and you've got the mat that's obviously nice to sit on for people. That it's obviously a point where lots of people congregate. There's 2 relatively big housing estates around the school there as well, so we get lots of people coming in. And and congregating on the cricket pitch. But we've been lucky enough that this is the first time that any major damage like this has been done to the mat. We did have grass burnt before and things like that, but you can kind of live with that, I suppose. But the mat, when that gets damaged, then it makes a big difference. It's more expensive to obviously get replaced, and means that the minute you can't play cricket on it, if we were in a position to.
Yeah, so you're, as you say, if you were in a position to play at the moment, and you were in a position, obviously the mat is damaged. Have you got any advice or any kind of quotes or anything like that as to what it might cost to repair?
No, nothing exactly, I suppose. I think it was just under $8,000 to put it in at the get-go. Now I know that involved a bit of labour work and the stone that's underneath it and so on and so forth. So we'll be hoping that it's not going to cost that much. We don't know for definite. We haven't lifted it yet to see exactly if there's damage underneath the mat as well. It has been done where that needs to be replaced, or whether it's just a matter of just getting a new mat and putting it down on top of the layer of the stones that are the stone layer that's there already. We're a bit wary, I suppose, as well, because we're not back playing, because we're not back using St. Finian's as often as we would be. If this was a normal summer, there'd be people, on the ground probably, 6 out of the 7 nights of the week, keeping an eye on the place. The groundsman up cutting the grass during the day and things like that. So we were a bit wary because that's not going on, because we're not have such a strong presence there to kind of go and maybe put down a new mat, straight away until we're kind of getting closer to start playing, just in case it got damaged again.
It's a real kind of catch-22 really at the moment of trying to get it repaired, but also you need to be, like you say, you need to be there and keeping an eye on it at the time. And I was down there myself last year covering a cup final, and it's a beautiful location for a game, isn't it? It's a great place to be able to play.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we've been lucky enough as a club that this is our second ground. Our original home was out in Murray. Only players of a certain generation would probably remember that. But that was on the shores of Lough. That was our backdrop. It was a lovely ground out there as well. And we've been in St. Finian's now since 2011, and we've put a lot of time and effort and finance, I suppose, into it as well to get it into the condition that it is in. So it is a lovely location as well. The school in the background, tree-lined avenue. You get a nice summer's day there. The place looks as good as anywhere, in our opinion. And we're very happy there. And it's just unfortunate that this has have to happen to us this year.
And I suppose the one good thing, or one of the first positives to come out of this, the act of vandalism and the damage that was done, was kind of the cricket community and the cricket family kind of rallying around almost immediately. I know Leinster themselves kind of pledged, but there was a lot of the other clubs and individuals kind of pledging their support to Mullingar, wasn't there?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think Cricket Leinster has to be recommended on the draw, the raffle this year that they've organised and that they're running for, not just ourselves but for every club. It's a huge bonus for us. Really, we're not at the fundraising in our normal fashion. We normally do a bag pack or a table quiz and things like that, and those options are just not open to us. I'm sure it's the same for every club. So fundraising has been really difficult this year, and since the Cricket Leinster been running the draw, it's been a big help. And then like you said, we've got great support through the raffle from lots of other different cricket clubs and lots of other members of other different cricket clubs, and even our own club as well, and former members as well of the club have really rolled in behind us. And we've been really not delighted is not really the right word, I suppose, but the general community around Mullingar actually as well. We've got huge support and huge feedback from the community in Mullingar, how sorry they were to see the vandalism, and showing support to us there as well. We feel that we've got a good presence in Mullingar now. We've built it up over the last few years. Three summers ago, 2017, we started actually coaching in primary schools, and that's really has got our name out there even more. And so parents get to hear about, the kids go home in the evening, we did cricket today in school, and so they get to hear about us a bit more. So we were definitely well supported in the local area as well as other cricket clubs and the cricket community.
But as you were saying, so it's showing that it's not just the cricketing family and the cricketing community, and it's also the local community, and it's not something you would have ever wished for or wanted. It shows that there is a sense of community and support there for the cricket club in the local community.
Oh yeah, like big time. Like, you know, as soon as it happened that Sunday morning, we realised damage had been done. First thing we did was phone the guards, obviously, you know, to report it, and then they came down and checked it out, and then we put the message out through our social media channels that this is after happening, and we weren't happy about it, and if anybody had any information to go to the guards with it. And you know, the response that we got off the local community with messages directly to us, and messages posts back on the post that we had, messages back and the post that we put up about it was phenomenal. You know, huge amounts of support. And then, like I've said, through the raffle then as well, we can see we've got I think it's over €2,000 now being raised through the raffle for us, and you know, a lot of that is coming from people in the local area here, you know, showing us support.
Well,
so that's delighted to have it.
Yeah, and that's it. And you're taking the positives from it. It is a really tough situation. It's hard to imagine something that could be worse. You know, seeing your club damaged during something like this. But you know, it is trying to get the word out there that, you know, there's a positive club for the local community to get involved with and to take advantage of. And how is it going to look for yourselves now for the season with regards to teams? How many teams are you looking to put out if and when we do get to get out there this summer?
Yeah, I suppose at the minute we're working our way through the return to train and kind of getting back going on that, and you know, our COVID officer is working through the risk assessment, and we're waiting on the signage to come down. I think that's due down next week, and the hygiene pack is due down to us next week, and things like that. And then we'll see about, you know, what has been done in terms of cleaning and what needs to be done, and getting the signs up and so on and so forth, and seeing about, you know, how we're going to run our practices. And to be honest with you, in terms of games, we are a little bit unsure exactly how that might pan out for us. You know, no matter whether we're playing away or whether we're playing at home, it's, you know, most clubs are going to be traveling. We're going to be either traveling an hour, or clubs are going to be traveling an hour to get down to us.
Yeah.
Social distancing, how's that going to work? You know, does that mean 11 people are going to have to drive? Is that feasible? Things like that. We're just really unsure how games are actually going to pan out for us.
Absolutely.
We'd be hoping we you know, we've had 3 men's teams for the last few years. We'd be hoping that we're aiming to have, if we get games again, to have 3 men's teams.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that happens or not, you know, remains to be seen. You know,
it is very much up in the air at the moment. It's one of those things that we're just trying to roll with the punches nearly at the moment, and see what develops kind of day by day, nearly, never mind week by week.
Exactly, yeah, and like things have changed so quickly. You know, you look at the government advice, and was it last weekend? You know, originally it was, you know, 5 phases. Things were going on till August, and now, you know, that has changed in the space of 3 weeks. They've rolled that back to 4 phases, and things are going to maybe be opened up 3 weeks earlier than they were expecting. So, you know, in another 3 weeks' time, you know, how different things might be then, we don't know. So that's just the current situation we're in. Things change daily, so it's just so hard to know how things are going to pan out. We think in terms of, you know, return to training, the way our nets are set up, they're all enclosed. We can control it relatively easy, actually. You know, there's one gate in, one gate out. We have a lock on it. We can control who goes in, what time to go in. You know, keeping the place clean. You know, we think that we can manage that relatively straightforward. But in terms of games, then we're just not sure how that might work for us. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes, I suppose.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we wish you the very best of luck, hopefully for getting back to play first, but also, you know, to get the collections, get the fundraising going, to continue that for whatever is needed to get the mat into playable condition again. And we wish you the very best for what's left of this year as chair. Is there a possibility that you be joining on for another year next year?
Mullingar Cricket Club is the type of club where if you take on a chairman role, you take on any role, it's only it's only a 5-year stint at least. So I can't see too many people trying to wrestle it off me after this year anyway. So yeah, I'll if people are interested in keeping me in the position again next year, I'll go again for next year, right?
Oh, well, you'll have no problem in doing that. So you might have a bit more action on the pitch to take part in and to watch over
Hopefully.
next year. Fingers crossed. Anyway. Listen, Mark, thanks a million for joining us here on the Slip Cordon. I really appreciate it, and the best of luck with all the fundraising and getting out to play this summer.
And that's it for the Slip Cordon this week. I'm Isabel Joyce.
And I'm Peter Boyd.